Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Lock, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, joined as always by Trevor and Konner.
Hey.
And this is technically the first Grip Lock of the offseason.
Yes.
Technically, but we're not doing off-season Grip Lock yet.
Okay, good. I was like, I don't feel like
it doesn't really become
it
doesn't really become off-season grip locked until after the grippies, because like we have to talk about season still.
Yeah.
And then we have grippies.
It's true.
And then it's like
Are the grippies next week or 2 weeks from now?
next week.
I think we got to go 2 weeks from now.
If we're lining up with last year, it's next.
I think it's 2 weeks.
And then we turn into
Grippies
a
are 2
balloon
weeks from
animal
now.
podcast.
So what are we going to talk about next week?
We can start off-season Grip Lock. We just got to have enough time to get the trophies right and ready. I feel like if it's
We
next
didn't
week,
have the
we'll-
trophies last year.
Yeah, we did.
I just watched it this morning.
We didn't?
Didn't look like it.
I thought we had them like lined in a V.
I thought we did. I remember that too.
I mean, I clicked on it last year's grippies and I was like skimming through a little bit and I didn't see
Did we just
one.
mail it out after?
Yeah.
I remember
once
that
they
being
came in, we
in a
mailed
V
them
on the
out.
desk as well.
But that was like a picture you took, I think, once they came
Maybe.
in.
If we ignore the trophies, we can do the grippies next week. Because the rest of the grippies doesn't take much.
To be
The trophies
determined.
takes a lot.
To be determined. We got to figure it out. To be determined.
Well, do we want the trophies here or not? We can do it on air. Do we want the trophies here on air, or we want to
I don't.
do it in the trophies
I think
after?
it'd be more important to be. I actually don't even know. It might be more important to have the trophies, considering the trophies are a hot topic. Let's get a timeline on the trophies, because if it's going to take 3 weeks, then we just got to do it.
We'll contact All Business Brad.
Yeah, we already have the trophy and the stamp. So,
Yeah, well, it really just depends on how long it takes someone to dye those discs.
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, surely they can dye them by next week.
Did you want? I think that
Probably.
they might. We could send like that light bulb behind me or something like that.
That
like,
is
that
true.
would
because
work.
it's from the grip
That's
lock
true.
set. So
If we need trophies, we can just like take the cabinets out of your filing cabinet and use those.
That's
Yeah,
true, too. Or just
yeah.
send someone this desk.
Yeah,
that's true.
But we'll wood carve it first.
Yeah, well, we'll burn something into it that
Here we
says
go.
what about
grippy.
Trevor's hat? It was on Trevor's hat during grip locked.
There we
It's
go.
on Trevor's hat.
And we'll sign it. But we'll put the right year on it.
Yeah.
All right,
got
hit him
him.
with it. Patreon question of the week to start it all off. If you don't know where this comes from, it comes from patreon.com/Foundation Disc Golf. The Heiser Club mailbag goes down each and every week. People can ask us whatever question and we answer them. Some are disc golf related, some are not. This one actually didn't get answered because it got asked after we recorded it last week, but I felt like it was a good question, so we'll ask it here. It comes from Gary D'Addario. He said, if the Pro Tour had an Elite Series event where the players had to play Ripped Revenge, which current pro would be the best of the format?
Oh, well, I think my answer is Brody because he's played it.
Well, yeah.
But he loses to Paul every time he's ever played.
Here's the thing: is
That's
Paul's
a good point.
disgusting at Ripped Revenge.
Paul is the greatest Ripped Revenge player I've ever
That's
seen.
actually a good point because he has like all the strategy in his head.
When-
I don't know
whenever-
how he's so good at
Paul
it.
has like certain things that he's kind of like savant-esque at, and Ripped Revenge is one of those things where like he would just get to the end of the game and he would have like the perfect cards, and you would just be like, "What in the world?"
I also don't
Paul
feel
is-
like
And it
I-
happened every time.
And I feel like every time he holds the cards, he looks so confident. He's like,
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm doing with these.
Yeah.
Paul would
Well,
win.
it's also he knows how to throw every shot.
He got all the shots, man.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys are right. We're taking
I think
Paul.
I got to go Paul.
It's gotta be Paul.
Well, because the other
We haven't seen enough players play Ripped Revenge.
that's the other
True.
thing is like you'd have to factor just like what players.
I'm trying to think of
have
someone
every
who's
shot.
good. I feel like
Kyle Klein Kyle Klein or Ricky would both be good at it. Isaac
Simon would be
Robinson.
good at
I'm
it.
thinking
too.
about people who are kind of goofy because I feel like goofy people might be better at throwing weird
Simon would
shots.
be good at it.
Simon
would be very good. I just don't know if he'd have that like killer strategy.
I don't know. He seems like a pretty bright guy.
Isaac Robinson's a big board game guy. I
Is
found
he?
out.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what
He doesn't.
Jason was tagging me and stuff all weekend of where Isaac Robinson said something in an interview where he like plays Monopoly very regularly and loves Settlers of Catan.
so
and
he's
love-
not, but he's not a board game guy.
No, he is. Jason was freaking out over it. No, he listed like 10 board games.
Okay,
He's just on his Monopoly
the
kick.
two
right
that
now.
you just named are really are casual, according to the.
I don't think you can
board
really
gamers.
call Monopoly casual.
I would never.
Yeah.
Some might.
Settlers is a very casual game, but I call it Settlers. So that's how you know I'm in the know.
He's in the know.
If you haven't listened to Bards of the Board, I mean, what are you doing with your life? DGPT Championship went down this past weekend, and it was very exciting. I will say, let's talk format for a second.
Let's talk
first.
Barbasol.
Oh.
Close shave presented by Barbasol.
Real.
It was funny. Terry said something. Ricky threw a shot, and they like did the close shave replay.
Yeah.
And then Terry was like, because he nicked a tree, and then Terry tried tying it in, and he was like, He's like, look at that little tree nick. He's like, which, by the way, if you use Barbasol, you don't have to worry about getting nicked at all. And I was like, I feel like that would be like one of the things
in the don'ts.
In the don't say.
You don't say you can't get nicked.
Yeah, because like you definitely
cream.
can. Because it doesn't like shaving cream. If you put shaving cream on and still just take a razor blade, you're gonna get nicked.
Stab myself.
Oh yeah, Terry.
I think it's really funny when the Pro Tour gets a.
Ow, I punched myself
This is why
so hard.
this is actually my pitch to big companies to advertise with the Pro Tour, because whenever you do, the commentators and everybody gets all giddy about it, and they probably do 10 times the airtime that they need to, because they just keep talking about it. They just won't shut up about it. And that's just what happens. So if you're listening, IKEA, sponsor us.
IKEA?
They're going to be talking about sofas the entire round.
And he looks so comfortable on that side of the fairway. Like he just got a brand new couch from IKEA.
I will say, I just reassembled my IKEA bed for like the 3rd time.
Hit him with it.
Takes like 10 minutes. Gosh,
convenient.
man.
Similar to the amount of time that the backup was caused on hole 18. Thoughts on the format overall, though? I thought it was definitely entertaining. I liked it more than last year or previous year's formats. It felt more like an actual tournament. I still wish the stroke had start stayed, though. Like, I wish it didn't reset after round 2. Because that was a weird thing of like...
It's weird when you reset the tournament and you've like got this momentum and storyline building, and then they just chop it up.
I did see like weird. It wouldn't have really changed much. Someone said I'd have to go like do the math, because you just created them as 2 separate tournaments.
There's a butterfly effect though.
But it would have. I feel like it would have made things on FPO especially would have made things more interesting, because Kristen kind of sucked in the last 2 rounds. But I don't know, because you mentioned before that the problem with the stroke head start staying is you could have someone run away with it. This at least guarantees it's going to be close going into the last 2 rounds, because everyone's even. I think they
kind of null and voided that though when they went to the hardest, thickest
very hard
course ever. Like I think they could have at a course like this, you could keep the stroke head start around no problem.
I liked the Nevin changes. I thought the course played very well. I really enjoyed it.
Hole 18 was crazy.
Hole 18, 17 and 18, and they still had like last year's hole 18 was like hole 6 or something like that.
Yeah,
like a 10 under round was like mind boggling. When I think Ricky shot it.
Course, man. When you get back in the woods and you see guys like hit a tree like 15 feet off the tee and kick 30 feet right, and you're just like, well, they're not getting up and down from there. Like wooded golf is brutal. It's just so different.
It was awesome. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. On the MPO side, we had Ricky Wysocki take it down. Kyle Klein came in 2nd, Calvin Heimberg in 3rd. And then on the FPO side, we had Big Money Missy Ganon take it down. Owen Scoggins and Cat Murch tied for 2nd. I mean, at what point, how does Missy Ganon keep doing this?
Well, it's really funny because the last time the Pro Tour leaned into this was right after Ledgestone, I guess.
I think so.
And they like threw up a stat, and it was kind of skewed. Like, it was kind of like one of those things where it was a fun bit, but the stats weren't quite there, because like the argument was there was like 2 events that were skewing her entire average winnings, one of them being the Tour Championship, which was worth so much money. But now
it's
with
really
another one, it's like it is becoming a thing at this point. Back-to-back Tour Championships, like, and back to back. She win Ledgestone and Tour Championship back-to-back years, I think.
Did she win back-to-back Tour Championships or 2? I think she lost last year's Tour Championship to Kristen.
And then she won the one before that?
Yeah, she won the one before. She came in 2nd last year and then won this year.
Something to be said, though.
Where someone responded...
Missy Ganon made the bag
here.
this year.
Her average payout at events she's won is $12,187.
That's amazing.
And so if she wins an event, she's won an average of $12,000.
Yeah, my mom was like...
That's crazy.
Like, oh, like her fiance or husband or whatever, like this he probably doesn't work, huh? I'm like, no.
He's her caddy.
Yeah, I was like, he's caddying for her. She's making over 6 figures this year.
That's crazy.
Hot dang.
Wow.
What did she end up cashing? It was like
95 grand.
And that doesn't include sponsorship, obviously.
Exactly. And bonuses and whatever. She probably made darn near $150,000 this year.
Maybe more.
Crazy.
Dang. Yeah.
Good for Missy Ganon.
She had a 3 under final round with 100% C1X putting. It was electric. There was some putts down the stretch that were like a lot of pressure on them. You know, could have made things swing into Owen's favor, or Cat Murch was pushing too, and she just kept hitting them time and time again. She just didn't mess up.
So bizarre.
And there was a lot of, it wasn't like 100% where she just like had 20 footers all day. Like she had a lot of, I'll have to actually pull it up to see how many, but it felt like 3 or 4 27 to 30 footers.
That's
awesome.
Well.
She's really tough to beat. It's still bizarre to me watching disc golfers.
It's 3 27 footers. So within the 100% C1X. And the rest, I mean, because you disc it's a wide range, so 16 footer could be 22 feet. You never really know. But she hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 putts outside of the X in C1X.
That's good. That's
so really it's not good. Like one of those fake stats where she just parked all day. Like she didn't mess up. She just didn't miss.
It is still bizarre to me watching these disc golfers who like just a few years ago, like if you won a good tournament, you made like $5,000 and they're like trying to make putts for $40,000. And it's like crazy. You're watching, like I'm watching a guy like Kyle Klein, who is like I mean, he's not a teenager anymore, but like he's like
what, 22? He's
young. Like he was just a few years ago probably playing disc golf for scraps, and like if he would have came back and won, he was going to make $40,000.
Well, he would have made $70,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, like
because he made 30 last week. He made what,
like,
$50,000 in 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. These kids are getting crazy. Rich in front of our eyes. It's wild. It's like insane to watch.
That is insane.
It's just insane when it's the same people. Like this won't really happen. It might happen again if disc golf booms a second time, but they're already like a lot of the top players are already well off. So if they go from already well off to even more well off, that's one thing. But watching players who had to struggle become like rich from disc golf is very fun.
Well, it makes it really exciting too because what was the difference between like second and third place at USDGC?
USDGC?
Yeah,
I'll pull it up
because we were
watching. It was like 8,000.
Whenever we were watching the final round. Me and
second and third was there was a 2-way tie for third, but ended up being $10,000
between. Like that's the difference.
Yeah, Bradley made $20,000 coming in second. Isaac Robinson made $10,000 coming in third.
So that's what makes it so it makes it so much more exciting in disc golf because the second, third, like those positions mean a lot. And so whenever we were watching, it was still exciting to watch the final stretch of USDGC. Because one, I mean, a couple OB strokes and Bradley Williams still could have got in there. But also, he still had to hold it together because there was still $10,000 on the line for if he slipped down to third or fourth. It's crazy.
It's serious business. It really is.
I'm trying to pull up the payout.
It's 40, 22.
And then it goes
14, 12, something like that.
I feel like I used to view disc golf as like they're just competing just for the accolade.
Basically they were because back then it was it was still a few $1,000s,
which is nice,
which is great. But when you like look at it compared to now,
now they're not just playing for first; they're playing for good money.
The difference between first and second was $18,000 this weekend, and then the difference between first and third was $26,000. So there's an $8,000 drop off from second to third.
The drop offs were pretty ruthless until once you got to fourth.
Then from third to fourth, it was $4,000. But still, like if you're in fourth place, and you have a chance to get to third. There's $4,000 difference.
That's still a $4,000 putt.
That's like what you used to win. It used to be like the winner of an elite series got like $4,000 or $5,000, and second place got like $3,000. So it was like $2,000. Still a lot of money, but when the difference between first and second is $18,000.
Yeah,
there's a lot. That's a lot. There's a lot of money to be won.
Those putts are worth a lot at that point.
Yeah, a lot more pressure on those things.
I can't even imagine.
Now
I can't imagine, and I don't like it.
It was a weird end of the season for Kristen here. She honestly just didn't really look like herself out there. She had a lot of big mistakes, like hitting first tree, missing Mandos, throwing OB, and just mental errors all around. Like it just didn't really. I don't know. It just didn't feel like she still set the season winnings record with a little over $116,000 this year, which is crazy that she did that without the Tour Championship. Last year she had the Tour Championship to get to like 109, I think. She got to 116 this year, so that just speaks to how good her season was in general. But it didn't feel satisfying. Like the way, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it felt like with how the season she had, like she needed to like just win it, and then it would have been like all right in the world.
Yeah, I know she posted and was like saying that she was just struggling like internally with some stuff and trying to figure out her game. But yeah, it was a little bit of a bitter way for the end of season, not winning either of the last two events. But it's reading into it for sure.
Well, she still had the greatest FPO season probably of all time.
Yeah.
One of the greatest seasons of all time. it just would have been sick to have ended it with a bang bang.
It definitely sucks when you win everything and then the one you can't win is the one that there's $40,000 for. That does suck. And not only that, but you didn't even get second or third. That's
pretty
tough.
crazy.
Then the other storyline here from this whole thing was not on lead card, not at all. It was actually from a hot mic on hole 18. So the Pro Tour had this stream going on YouTube that was just hole 18, just streaming live. And I started getting like tagged and stuff because at about an hour, it was on the, I don't know, the third or fourth day, about an hour and 45 minutes into this live stream, you can hear this argument go down between Katrina Allen and Jessica Weiss. They got into it on hole 18. Apparently it all started, you had it pulled up from the UDisc scorekeeper was explaining.
Yeah.
Apparently it all started because Katrina Allen thought Jessica Weiss took a 10. Jessica Weiss thought she took an
8.
And
they all counted and decided it was a 9.
Yeah, they all counted and decided it was a 9.
So they're both wrong.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? You got to the right score at the end. But then it like got escalated from there. You can hear some of the quotes back and forth and you can tell who said what, but obviously you can't see them. It sounds like when it was all said and done, I mean, there was the B word was thrown out there, the F word, like it was a heated exchange. Basically, at one point, Katrina Allen, according to this UDisc scorekeeper, said something about like, I don't understand how you've been playing for this long and you can't count your score. And then on the coverage, you can, or on this live hot feed, you can hear what appears to be Jessica Weiss, and it would make sense in this scenario. Said, B, I've been playing for a lot longer than that. Little retort there. And then at some point, you hear what sounds like Ella Hansen crying and saying, I'm out of here and leaving. And you hear, I don't know who says it, but like someone says effing ridiculous or something like that right up next to the mic. So chaotic.
No pain, no gain on that mic, am I right?
Apparently a marshal had to get involved from what people were saying on Reddit. And someone on Reddit, 3 people on Reddit I saw, I have not heard anything to confirm this, but 3 people on Reddit are claiming that Katrina Allen is facing a suspension going into next year. On what grounds or how, I don't know. Again, all you can tell is just like the hot mic. You can hear people are getting upset at each other. You can tell who's who. But
it definitely would have had to been if there was like a legitimate verbal assault or like some serious, like some pretty bad things would have had to been said, I think, to warrant a suspension. But I don't know. It doesn't really happen. You know, it's kind of unprecedented a little bit.
Well, it might happen more than we think. It just doesn't normally happen. There's a hot mic by 18 to catch whatever the heck goes down.
But you're right. But yeah, we certainly never hear about things getting blown out of proportion like that.
I think it was just a long, rough season for Katrina Allen boiled over. And it just kind of all seemed to have spilled out. Because at one point someone said, just because you're having a rough day doesn't mean you have to be rude to all of us. And like, things got heated quick is what it sounded like.
I don't know. I would have to hear. I'd really have to hear the entire story and all the transcript and what was said before I could make a judgment call on like, does that deserve a suspension or not? But if she was legitimately like verbally attacking all of her card mates, then like I could see like a 1 event suspension. You know, if it was like a hey, we're not going to tolerate that slap on the wrist situation.
Well, but I don't know.
I'm not going to see a Nico LaCastro situation.
Well, I think the tough part is like where is the suspension from? You know what I mean? Like, is it from the Pro Tour? Or is it from the PDGA?
And maybe it's a fine.
Well, like, have they set up the fine stuff yet?
Because I know didn't they say that they
were getting ready for it. That's what the tour card was like being implemented for, so that they could do fines and stuff. But I don't know if it's fully in.
Yeah,
nothing's been said from the Pro Tour. Like, there's been nothing addressing it. This is all the UDisc guy who was there. The UDisc guy, I mean, the guy keeping score. He was just volunteer. He not representing UDisc. The guy who was keeping score for UDisc, he posted something on Reddit, and then you can hear some of the transcript for yourself, and you can piece together who's saying what based on just knowing their voices on the whole 18. The whole Marshall getting involved suspension thing, that's just from like 2 Reddit comments. That's not confirmed from anyone who would know.
Yeah, people were saying that like a Marshall had to get in between them to where like they were going to fight each other.
Yeah, we weren't on the ground, so no clue.
Show me the footage.
You can hear it on 18, so you can confirm at least a lot of what is being said is true because you can hear it for yourself.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on and some heated people. That's for sure.
So that'll be an interesting storyline to follow to see if anything comes of that. But in my opinion, it'll probably just be like all settled, you know, no suspension and roll into next year.
We'll see.
Forget it even happened. But it was definitely an interesting one to wrap it up there. And interesting that the Pro Tour just happened to have a camera live. And I thought once I saw it, I was like, I've got to listen to this now because surely the Pro Tour is going to pull this.
Sure did.
And they never did. It's still up. So if you haven't heard it, you can find a link to it on Reddit and go listen to it with the timestamp. Now, on the MPO side, Ricky Wysocki went unconscious this final round. It started with like let's see what UDIS gives him on hole 1, but it was like 65 feet.
Bomb.
A 60-footer on hole 1 is what kicked this whole thing off. And then he proceeded to putt 100% C1X, 100% Circle 2. That doesn't include a 75-foot putt on hole 16 that slammed a door in Kyle Klein's face. It was.
Oh my god!
I thought he was going to lay up because I was like,
that putter jumped out of his hand.
I was thinking in my head he was walking up to that putt, and at that point I think he had a 2-stroke lead. Kyle was inside the circle, if I'm not mistaken, for birdie. I think he was at circle's edge. Yeah, 27 feet. And so in my head, I was like, Ricky should just lay this up and then go into 17, 18 because so much can happen on 17, 18. I was like, why? Again, I'm just thinking it of like, why run this putt? But, it's anti-Hunter. Hunter should have been thinking, run the crap out of this putt, take it in your own hands. And that's what Ricky did. And my gosh, when he hit that putt, I think he lost control of his body. He was like raptor legging and like turning back and forth. It was like one of the most hype disc golf moments.
It was pretty
unfortunately,
sweet.
The crowd wasn't
unfortunately,
massive.
There was like 80 people there to see it.
Yeah, but he was hype enough for there to be 5,000.
That's true. Ricky doesn't care. He doesn't need to feed off the crowd.
It was an insane performance. It kind of like, so we've had Ricky be injured all year. And so this like putting performance, it kind of like assuaged my desire to see him on top again. Like the way I felt like all year we were waiting for Ricky to like be himself.
Yeah.
And this reminded me of like what we saw in 2015, 2016. It wasn't just good for back then. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, no, Ricky is that good.
He's very fun to watch when he's playing well.
It was disgusting.
He has an exciting game. He throws all the shots. Just super athletic guy. And I think this win was really big for him because I don't give a lot of credit to the Tour Championship winner as far as like player of the year and that kind of thing, but it's a narrative changer for his season.
Yeah. It doubled his tour earnings basically.
Right. Financially it's very nice. I mean,
he's making like $1 million a year, but I'm just saying like stats wise.
40 grand. But I think it's a very nice, like, it's a way for people to be able to look back on the season from Rick and be like, yeah, okay, he won on the tour and he got the tour championship. Like, it's a fine season. Nothing wrong with it. It's pretty good.
He took down a silver event in the Preserve and the tour championship.
I think that makes it
while injured.
Yeah, it's a sweet ending to the season. Makes it a pretty good season. It was a narrative changer, and it shifts it a little bit that way. So I think that was an important win for him.
Yeah,
and it's a great way to go into the off season.
No, for sure. It gives him Ricky's favorite word, gives him a lot of momentum going into the offseason.
That's right.
And I think he seemed, there's just certain players like have this gear that they can kick it into. And I think Sexton was talking about it on the broadcast of his list of the 3 players that have that gear. It was like shortly after Ricky hit the putt on 1. And his list was Climo, Ricky, and Macbeth of like, they have this gear where when they get a win in their sight, then they can just shift it to another level.
Yeah.
And I always believed that pre the last like few years of like McBeast mode being a thing. When Ricky gets into, he's not missing a putt within 80 feet, no one can catch him.
I would argue Isaac Robinson's looked that way a little bit this year.
But then like when the modern eras come, Ricky's obviously been dealing with Lyme's disease. Paul's kind of faded a little bit. And it's like, the question I found myself asking was like, was that dominance just because of how weak the field was? And then when you see Ricky do it against this field in that final round, it like reminds you of like, no, they're just like, when they shift it to that gear, it really is no one in the world can touch them.
Yeah.
Because like apparently Kyle Klein on like hole, I don't know what it was, after Ricky hit one of his, I think it was like a second or third circle 2 putt. It was probably the 50-footer on hole 3. It was either Big Jerm or Brian Earhart was like on the grounds doing the ground reporting and talked to Kyle Klein, and Kyle said something along the lines of like, well, Ricky's putt's on, so at least I can get second today. Like that's what happens when a guy like Ricky or Paul used to do it to people all the time, show up and they hit every time you think the door's open, it's like boom, 60-footer on one, boom, 50-footer on three, and you're like, I can't do anything about it.
The easiest way to demoralize and beat somebody is with circle 2 putting. I think it's such an underrated statistic because not only do you almost steal a stroke for yourself, somebody who thought they were getting back in just got the door slammed in their face. And if it happens over and over and over again, they begin to think it's, you know what? It's honestly like when we play doubles against teams like that. And
it sucks.
After a while, you just get into the mindset of like, well, we know we're making this, and you just get to a point where like there's no way back.
Yeah,
and that is what circle 2 putting can do at its best.
Now, Kyle Klein did hold his own out there. He ended up shooting 7 under that final round, and he had a chance on 18 to put pressure on Rick.
Put pressure. Yeah.
Not necessarily to
Rick
take the
got
win.
a break and a half on 18 though. That forehand he threw on his second shot was going 100 miles an hour into the woods and just deflected straight back out to the edge.
Yeah.
So Kyle didn't execute a shot anyways, but if that thing had gone into the woods, I don't know.
No, he definitely, because Ricky, where he went, it was most likely, no matter what, because that was 1-2, he was basically pitching out and most likely taking a bogey.
Yeah,
is
Kyle had
where
to
he
make
was
birdie
at.
no matter what.
And so if Kyle birdied, now we're talking playoff. And that's kind of where my head was at, because Kyle Klein hadn't really messed up yet that day. Like every chance he had, 100% C1X putting, he hit a circle 2 putt. Like he was playing very solid. This course was extremely difficult, and he was sitting at 8 under, I believe, standing on 18. And he had a chance to get up and down, and he just overturned it. He went backhand. Yeah. A lot of players are going like a huge power forehand because you had to make the Mando. He went with a turnover backhand. And I think from what my angle, I thought that he was expecting it to flex. You thought he yanked it. Either way, he messed up.
The line
obviously
just surprised me, honestly. Like
the commentaries were surprised he went backhand.
I get the forehand play makes sense to avoid if you're worried about the skip. It was short grass. The problem with my thing is there's a lot of room to the left of the basket, and like the green's pretty big in general. Playing that, like either if it was an Anheuser or if you're truly trying to play a flex shot, like that's just a difficult shot to throw rather than just taking it wide, because he didn't have to throw it that hard. You could tell he kind of just like finessed it up there because his drive was really good. And I was just surprised when it came out of his hand on like this high, steep Anheuser angle. It was just an interesting shot. I'd like to know like what he wanted it to do, like what his goal was. Maybe it got shoved by wind or something. There wasn't really much out there. But yeah, it just surprised me. He's a great forehand player. I was interested to see that he went with that shot.
Yeah. So he ends up bogeying, which means Rick can then lay up and take his double bogey and win by 1 and tap out for $40,000. Calvin Heimberg got himself back, I won't say into it, but up the leaderboard with that final round. He shot a 9 under final round to get to 11 under and finish in 3rd.
Yeah. And
then Isaac Robinson finished in 4th, tied with Adam Hammes. Adam Hammes kind of had himself a weekend out there.
Yeah, he did.
He originally set the course record that was then broken by Ricky. This course just played so tough. Double digits was like mind-boggling out there. It was so good. I think Ricky shot that in round 3. He basically just, from hole 8 on, went unconscious to get himself up the leaderboard, because like round 3, if you were watching the front, Ricky just looked ticked. Like he was not having fun out there.
Yeah.
He was just sitting on his stool, just looked out of it. He looked ticked off, which if you're a course, I guess is a bad sign, because that means Ricky's about to just go off on you. And that's what he did. From hole 8 to hole 18, he birdied everything in sight and just missed hole 16. So
I was just getting PTSD of us playing Angry Beaver the whole time. Just like, oh my gosh, if we don't hit this gap, we have to scramble from the woods 400 feet away.
And there was a lot of OB. I loved the course. I loved it.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I thought it was great.
I think it's fine.
I thought it was great because it made it so exciting. Because even when Ricky had a few strokes going to 17 and 18, you knew how hard those holes were. It wasn't over. Because, I mean,
that's a great thing about woods golf is there's always going to be separation because all you have to do is miss a gap.
Yeah, and it was electric. But I think that was all the main storylines. Fantastic end of the season. Very exciting. I liked that they brought out the big check. People were commenting, tagging me in it. They did put the wrong date on FPO.
Those things expire after 90 days.
But they tried to correct it. I don't know if they took a Sharpie to it or got it reprinted. I didn't see if the MPO check was the wrong date.
I didn't notice.
But the FPO one said 2022 on it.
How do you do that?
Oh, that's tough.
How do you do that?
It's just the one guy whose job it was just
Because
messed up.
I totally like you get a free pass on that for like the first 2 to 3 months of the year. We're in October. You know what year it is.
Well, I'm surprised.
I would almost.
Well, I mean, I forget what year it is sometimes, but then I just look at my phone.
I'm surprised the company printing the check.
Really?
Yeah. I rarely ever write down what year it is. So sometimes
We've
whenever
been in it for so long.
well, I know, but like I don't think about what year I'm in very often. So sometimes I'll go to write down something.
I
like,
guess because I
what
follow
year is it again? I was like,
but like-
and then like, oh yeah, it's 2023, and so it just I forget what year we're in.
All right. Fair
I
enough.
write a lot of checks, so
I don't write any checks.
I guess because I mean when I follow sports, I guess it helps because like you know what season we're in. I mean on the Pro Tour, like
well, forget whoever messed up at the Pro Tour. I'm surprised the printing company didn't
or
catch
just
it.
second check it. Like if you're writing a check that's gonna be that big and that important,
Like, think about
just
it.
like reread everything and check everything.
Well, even like how did the email not correct itself? Because like this was sent to a printing company. Like if I type, I'm gonna test it. If
well,
I
the printing
type,
company's just doing what they're just collecting. They're if I'm the printing company and I get that, I'm printing that sucker because I'm hoping they submit another order for the fixed one. That's what I'm doing.
no, it doesn't self-correct me. I let me type 2022 and didn't suggest 2023. I thought it might have.
Oh, that would be a wild.
I thought it might have.
autocorrect feature.
But it
Well,
didn't.
yeah, because what if you're just typing a past date?
Well, I just know like if I start to type a date, like it'll suggest today's date.
Yeah, oh,
But
that's
I was
true.
trying to write a future date to see. Who knows? Doesn't matter. They tried to print it over
Date.
it. From the picture zoomed out, you can't even really tell.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of
It is
small
so
in there.
funny.
But when you
like-
zoom in, it's like, ah.
It is really funny that like you were saying earlier this season, like just forget the trophy thing, just do big checks. It'll look good optics wise, and then they put the wrong date on the check.
Yeah, that was tough.
That
That's
funny.
like almost ironic. It's so funny.
What did you think of the trophy? Brody, I asked Brody what his trophy
He said
rankings
he's
were going to be,
retired.
and he said he
Here's-
retired from
okay.
trophy ranking.
Here's my opinion. Because people were hating on it big time.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it.
What
It was
was
a
it?
weird shape.
Well, they
I
wanted
can't tell you
they
what it
wanted
was.
it to look. They wanted it to look like a barber's pole. Did you catch on to that?
I did not.
Okay, so that is what they were trying to do.
Bad idea.
Well, I think that I respect that they tried because like barber.
It wasn't bad. I liked the trophy.
I
It
respect
was
that they
okay.
tried to make something look like a trophy,
I'm going to Instagram.
but also embody a theme, and they kind of went with the theme of now it is a little weird to theme it after your sponsor, so maybe take a few points off for that, but I'm guessing that's what they were trying to do. It looked to
It
me
makes sense.
to
I
me it looked
didn't-
like a barber's pole.
I was thinking, why is the ball on the top so small? Is the only
yeah.
question I was asking.
So I think size wise it looked good. I'll put it this way, when I saw people holding it I wasn't like, ew, what is that?
No, it
I
didn't
think,
take away.
I think they had the right idea. It wasn't perfect.
It was a lot better than a steering wheel.
Yeah.
My thing was when they handed it to him, it was big enough, it was shiny, it was clearly made for the event,
Yeah.
and it was clearly professionally done. It wasn't made by some.
Right.
So when
Yeah.
he held it up, like it was not embarrassing.
You see it, Konner?
Is it? I'm just looking at this red thing.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they were inspired by a barbershop pole. If not, then it's ugly.
I think there's there's no describable way to say it's a barbershop pole.
Just because the ball on top.
But that's it. It's just the ball. I don't. It at least is trophy shaped. And
That's
it's
what I'm saying.
big.
It's like
I don't think it's bad. It's kind
was
of an
big.
ugly.
It was
It's an ugly trophy, but it is a substantial trophy.
I felt like when I saw them lift it, I wasn't distracted.
it looks like they won something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it looks like. Oh,
I
you
was fine
won-
with it.
Yeah, I think again, it's an ugly trophy, but it is a substantial.
Yeah, I wasn't upset by it.
But-
I was curious to hear Brody's ranking of it,
He's retired.
but he retired, so he
We've
refused
created. I think he's scared of what he's created.
I just don't know
am too, a
why
little
they
bit.
chose red or blue. Why wouldn't they just if they went silver? If it was the same shape and it was just silver.
It's the Pro Tour.
to. I didn't
Yeah,
mind
it'd
red
be
or blue
cool.
either. The big
feel
thing to
like-
me is like it
I
just
like the
clearly
blue one
wasn't
better.
made by Jeff Spring the night before with like aluminum foil.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
thought
that's
put
or
true.
clay.
No, yeah, I don't
that's
mind
what-
it. I don't mind it.
I was fine with it.
Yeah, we've definitely created a bit of an army in Brody as well, because now every time a trophy's posted, there's like a Reddit thread.
At the end of the
there's
day,
people
it's a real
commenting.
trophy.
Yeah,
They have
Yeah.
actual trophies, and that's good.
Get them.
hit him with it.
It's not something else.
Before we get into Trevor's trivia, I wanted to bring up, it is the off season now. So what are we looking at this off season? Who's
Tell me.
moving? Who's available?
Track it.
I'm just going to read you through everyone
Read it.
whose contract, whether this is an important
I'm
person.
going to rank them on a letter grade scale of
Okay.
how excited I am for their announcement.
And I'll say to whatever
Okay.
Trevor says.
Okay. We have Gavin Rathbun. There's a lot. So.
No, it's okay. Gavin Rathbun, C.
He had a bad year this year.
Yeah, C. Not
It's
even a C plus, just a C.
Connor O'Reilly.
C plus.
Nice guy.
More than Gavin Rathbun.
I met him. Really nice guy.
Okay,
Was very
Tristan
sweet.
Tanner.
Good at telling stories.
Tristan Tanner, B minus.
Have you considered his haircut and beard?
No. B minus though.
Oh, dude. Tristan Tanner,
There we
I'll
go.
say it.
He's
He
kinda-
looks good out there,
yeah,
man.
he's-
I did not recognize him
Yeah.
at all. Apparently, I haven't seen him since his YouTube videos back in the day.
Yeah.
And dude's cut.
Yeah.
Good looking guy.
Dustin Keegan. I didn't know he was still playing disc golf.
D.
Yeah. Jake Mon. The young guy
C
who
plus,
popped off
C plus.
it.
Yeah, I know him. He's huge. C plus.
Paige Shue. She signed a 1-year deal last year.
C plus.
Austin Turner. DGA.
B.
Zach Melton.
You giving Austin Turner a B?
Yeah, I don't.
Zach
just ignore it. Just ignore it. He was injured all
Because
year.
he's kind of polarizing. Zach
he?
Melton, I'm going to give a C minus just because I know he's staying with Dynamic, and you'd be crazy to think otherwise.
Madison Walker.
D.
Jake Ebenheimer.
C.
Now this one is an interesting one. Austin Hannum. Did not hear about him this year unless
Yeah.
you're talking about Katrina Allen.
He did.
But he is with DGA, so probably just gonna stay with them.
C.
Valerie Mandahano.
B.
Did not have a great year
B.
with the ankle injury.
I'd say B plus. B plus. I'm interested to see where she's at.
Aaron Gossage.
Big Air?
Aaron's up this year. A
That's-
plus.
yeah, that's an A plus.
Yeah, it says 1-year extension, 2023.
A
I see
plus.
Aaron. Aaron kind of gives me Prodigy vibes.
Love the goose.
I get Prodigy vibes from him.
Uh,
I don't think
Holland-
he's going to go there, but
Holland Handley.
Oh, that's also an A plus.
Maria Oliva.
C.
Rebecca Cox.
D.
Chandler Fry.
Chandler Fry, the Chanimal. I'll give him a C plus.
Gavin Babcock's up.
Oh heck yeah! He
Big
just
Gav.
signed a 1-year deal with this man. He's almost guaranteed to have extended, so I'll just give him a B plus.
the fact that never mind.
Katrina Allen.
Oh, that's a good one. Actually A plus because she could retire.
Oh, that'd be fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah, she talked about that.
Oh.
I didn't.
I
What
thought
did
he
you
was-
talk about?
I thought it was just like a.
I thought that was just Trevor saying it.
It's like, dang.
She told me before she wasn't sure what she would do after her contract ended on one of my shows.
Well, because this was the extension. Who knows? James Proctor.
A minus.
Lisa Fakis.
C minus.
Robert Burridge.
Ooh, B plus.
Erica Stinchcomb.
This is such a funny thing
plus.
that's happening right now.
Scott Withers.
C minus.
A lot more
James
people than I
Proctor
thought.
again. Oh, because this is Thought Space and
Infinite.
now Clash.
I thought he was with Infinite.
He's with Infinite too. Maybe I'll probably find him a third time on this list.
Okay.
Eric Oakley.
I can't believe this list is still going on.
Eric
Oh,
Oakley-
we're like halfway.
Eric Oakley's
This is
not going
awesome.
anywhere.
Eric Oakley would be a B minus.
Evan Smith.
B plus.
Alexis Mandahano.
A minus.
Maria
A for
Oliva's
Alexis.
Thought Space deals up, but we already talked about her. Haley King.
A plus.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one. Philo Brathwaite.
Oh.
F.
F for Philo.
Nate Queen.
C.
Jessica Weiss.
Jail? No.
Trev.
C plus.
Now this is an interesting one. Bradley Williams.
That is an interesting one.
That is
I would. That's an A plus.
He came in second.
Holly Finley.
C.
Emily Beach.
C plus.
Stacy Ronsley.
So many people on this
B minus.
list.
We're not
Holy
even
cow.
close to the bottom.
This is crazy. This is the Armageddon of.
You might
free
need to start
agency.
listing.
There's just I warned you before.
It's all right. We got time.
Chandler Kramer.
The Crame Dog.
That's what we're sticking
B
with,
minus.
huh? Stick with the cream dog.
AJ Carey.
Hey, Carey.
The Care Bear.
D.
AJ Care Bear.
Deanne Carey.
Oh, the Care
B
Bear.
plus.
Chris Clemens.
Oh, the Club Bear.
Ooh, B plus.
This one's gonna get Trevor excited. Alden Harris.
Ooh.
You excited, Trev?
A minus.
Oh.
Macy Valadiaz.
B minus.
Emerson Keith.
B plus.
Andrew Presnell.
B plus.
Andrew Fish.
C minus.
Vanessa Van Dyken.
D.
Now this one could get interesting. Kayla Visca.
Kayla Visca.
He owns
He's
part of
got
Prodigy,
jokes.
so
That's
not
NA,
good, but it's-
invalid, null.
Missy Ganon.
Missy Gan's A+.
Yeah, that's an interesting one there.
Dude, what in the heck?
Lori Lettinen.
C.
Let's see. Matty O's contract's up.
A+.
Wow, Matty O.
That's exciting for me. I love him.
Casey White.
B.
Now here's the big one. Gannon Burr.
A++.
Banninger.
Yeah. Okay, scrolling down. Sarah Hokum.
Oh my gosh. How are we
C+.
still going?
Juliana Corver.
D. She's not leaving Innova.
Brad Schick.
D.
Nicholas
Chick
Antela.
dog.
Nicholas Antela, probably not leaving Discmania, but
Interesting one, though.
A.
Here's another big dog. Eagle McMahon.
A+.
Big Bird.
Bino Makala.
B+.
How come no one calls Eagle McMahon Big Bird?
Garrett Gerthy.
Double G, I'll give him a B.
In the last one, probably the worst time for her contract to be up.
Ooh.
Paige Pierce.
A+. That if now as I mean I'm like speechless right now. As we know, probably 3/4 of those players have probably already been extended and
Yeah.
just haven't been updated yet. But even the idea, like last year, I feel like we had a crop of like 12 players who might have a chance of hitting free agency. That was overwhelming.
insane.
If that
That's
is
just
what,
for multi-world. So
if
I don't.
that's what goes on this offseason, we're going to be entertained endlessly. I mean,
Yeah.
every week, there was probably 10 players on there that are like legitimately very exciting to see what ends up happening.
It's big off season.
Buckle up, baby.
I'm
Wow, I'm
buckled.
hyped now. That's
I already buckled up.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
Paige Pierce.
now that we got them hyped up, it's time for the fan favorite segment.
Hype.
Trevor's Trivia.
Trev dog.
Right on, guys.
Hit him
The
with
Cream
it.
Dog.
Come on.
Cream dog.
If you're listening, Chandler, let me know what you think.
Cream dog.
Cream dog.
He's got to like it more than the proctologist.
True.
James Proctor's never said
Yeah,
anything
why
to me,
do we
so.
call Chandler Kramer the proctologist?
Do you guys know?
We don't.
Do you guys know instead of getting like a prostate exam now, you can poop in a box and mail it to this company?
I did not know that.
It's like a very popular thing now. So you don't have, yeah.
Okay.
I saw a commercial the other day.
Trevor's Trivia.
Trevor's Trivia. Welcome to Trevor's Trivia. Did you guys know you can poop in a box now?
That was the segment. All right, let's get into it.
just so you're not scared of turning 40.
Okay. I got enough time.
This is called. No, you don't, dude. This is called. Is it a real disc golf company?
Love it, Trev.
great.
Is it a real disc golf company? These would be companies.
Get higher.
These would be. Is it a real disc golf company?
No, you can start at the same. Just get higher.
Is it a real disc golf company?
Thank you. Much better.
Why did that go on for so long?
These would all be companies that like not necessarily produce discs but sell them, like brand them. Like that's what we're going for here, just to give you a little bit of a hinty hint.
Like manufacturer
Like
or
like
thought
NQV?
space.
Manufacturer or like a thought space type situation.
Yeah,
Like
but like not a
NQV
retailer.
Sports?
Correct.
What about NQV Sports?
Well, I guess they technically could be a retailer. I didn't look into it that much.
Well, like
They have their own discs.
yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
That is the question.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because you probably never heard of any of these.
Oh, okay.
That's what you think.
All right, I'll ask you both. Number one,
Wait. How does this work?
you're just gonna both. You're gonna hold
We're
up.
going against each other.
We'll do it the way where you guys hold up a finger. So you're gonna hold up a 1 for yes and a 2 for no at the same time, so that we can time
And
it.
say it while we do it.
Okay.
Yes.
That way our audio listeners know.
So we'll
Respect
just
Hunter.
say, we won't say 1 or 2. We'll
No,
just say
you
yes
hold
or
it
no.
up and then say what you said.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is Jester Disc Golf. Is that
which
a
one is
real
which?
disc golf company?
Which one is which?
1 is yes.
Okay.
2 is no.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
thinking.
chairs down.
Jester Disc Golf.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Yeah, they make the love putter.
That is correct.
Do we need to hold up the fingers, or can we just say yes or no?
Well, but if we say, as long as we say it at the same time.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay.
fine if you
We
say it at the
just
same
can't-
time. Just try not to have you guys contradict
I
yourself.
understand.
The next company is Premier Angle Discs. Premier Angle Discs. Is that a real company? Is it not? 3, 2, 1.
I said no.
I said yes.
It is not a real disc golf company.
2 for 2.
Premier Discs is.
Yeah, Premier
but
Discs.
not
I think
Premier
that's where
Angle.
I think that's where I got lost.
Hunter's up 1.
Good
The
job,
next
Hunt.
one is called Outer Rim Discs. Is Outer Rim Discs a company? 3.
No, oh my gosh!
Yeah,
you're
we're
really
going
for it.
rapid fire. 3, 2, 1.
I said yes.
I said no.
It is not.
Oh!
I'm pretty proud of that one. All right, I'll tie it
Outer
up.
rim?
Hey, good job, man.
And gyro. It's just another word for knockoff gyro.
Okay,
But it's
next,
just the gyro. It's not the center.
next we have terminal velocity discs. Is that a real company?
Is this a real company?
3, 2, 1.
I said yes.
I've
Hunter
heard of
said yes as well.
You would both be correct.
Thanks, Trev.
The next one is Discstroyer discs. So Discstroyer discs.
I mean,
Is that a real company?
surely.
3.
No, I'm not
2,
ready. I'm not ready.
1.
Yeah,
I
only
would
because I
guess.
think your creativity would have come up with something better.
I think that you're
Yeah,
way
it
smarter.
is.
yeah,
than
I
saying
think you're smarter than
destroyer.
Disc
I
Destroyer
don't know,
discs.
dude. I could. Hey, man, shout out to Discstroyer discs. Send me some discs. I'll throw them.
So it was a real company.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Hunter were on the same wavelength. There's
I was
no
just
way-
like, Trevor would not have thrown one out that obvious.
Yeah.
Next we
It's like,
have-
we make frisbees.com.
Next we have fourth circle discs. Ooh, circle 1, circle 2, circle 3. Fourth circle discs. 3, 2, 1.
I'm saying yes.
I said no.
It is yes.
yeah, only reason I won't give away my tell.
Don't give away his.
I won't give away my
his tell.
secrets.
He's
I'll
gotta
give you
tell
away
us.
my secret later.
What?
All right.
I got a secret.
Big
You
Hunt's
You got
back up one.
secrets? You're keeping secrets? You're looking at his phone. That's
you
what.
can't see
I'm
his
just
phone.
kidding.
The next one we have here is Lightspeed Discs. Is Lightspeed Discs a real disc golf company? 3, 2, 1.
Go
I
with
said no.
You're both correct.
All right.
Hunter's still up
Trev.
1. Next we have Momentum Discs. Is Momentum Discs a real company? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I think
said
so.
yeah as
You're
well.
both correct.
Heck
We
yeah.
have 2 more.
Okay.
Next we have Wing It Disc Golf. Is that real? 3, 2, 1.
I said
Dang it,
yeah.
Hunter. I'm trying to get something
You're
different as you.
correct. Last one.
Was right?
Is it
was
wing
real?
it? Wing it
Correct.
as in wing it or WINGAT?
Wing It.
Okay.
2
Wing
separate words.
it.
Last one we have is Final Eclipse Discs. Is that a real company? 3, 2, 1.
I
Dang
said
it.
no.
And you are both correct.
I just wanted to
Hunt
switch
with the
up
win.
from Hunter and have the possibility.
You guys really locked on by the end of it there.
The
Yeah,
only
we
reason
did.
I got that one right that you said no was Trevor was making fun of the name too much. That I was like, it's got to be real because he wouldn't make fun of something he.
Well,
came up
that's
with
why I
that.
thought he was trying to throw us off his scent.
No, more so what I was actually trying to do to throw you off the scent was fourth circle just sounded so obscure that I couldn't have come up with it. So I was trying to explain to you guys how they may have gotten their name so that you could.
Yeah, but that
could
when you
read
started
it.
the fact
explaining
that it's
it,
so
I was just
obscure,
like,
I believe in your creativity, Trev.
Okay.
I just was like,
Trevor
Trevor would
seriously, Trev?
Trevor would have tried to make us believe it was a real company, and not make us like laugh at why on earth would they come up with fourth circle.
I think he's smarter than that.
Well,
he wasn't. He's not
here's the
smarter than
thing.
that.
Stupid.
I got it right.
Yeah, you're right.
Player of the year got interesting, huh?
Oh,
Yep, smooth transitions is what we're known for. It's season's over, so now it is time to discuss player of the year. And there's 3 main candidates here.
It's
Calvin
disgusting.
Heimberg, Gannon Burr, and Isaac Robinson. You'll have to wait till the
And
Grippies.
Double G.
You'll have to wait till the Grippies to hear what we decide.
What about David Wiggins?
You'll have to wait till the Grippies to hear what we
Big
decide.
wave?
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna just make the case for each player, and then you let us know in the comments what you decide.
Are you going to make
Love
a
it.
player A? You should do a player A, player B, player C
People
tweet.
know.
You should do it anyways.
Okay.
Well,
Do you want me to read these with the names, or you want me to do the stats?
I'm actually gonna make this graphic later for Instagram, so don't do it.
Okay. Well, I was gonna make it just like voting on grip blocks.
You can do that too. We can do this together.
Okay. So do you want me to read the names with associated with this?
You might as well, because I know very well what they did.
Yeah.
Just do it. Everybody knows. This is stupid.
All right. Calvin Heimberg. Here's his resume.
okay.
Okay. This is only the 2023 Pro Tour season, because that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
If you played A tier, who cares?
You mean
I don't think he did, but
You mean
Gannon Burr did.
2022?
I meant 2023.
Gotcha.
So his average finish on the Pro Tour and at majors, this is all according to Statmando, and it does not factor in the Tour Championship.
Fine.
3.8.
That is an outrageous number.
It doesn't seem right.
It's the
'cause
best
I think
part of his resume.
I think they put up a different stat on coverage, but hey, this is straight from Statmando.
That's the
I
best
sorted
part of
it.
his resume.
3.8 with his
That's
worst
insane.
finish being 16th,
That is insane.
and that was at Champions Cup.
That is insane.
He has 2 Pro Tour wins, and 1 silver event win. 13 podiums, 21 top 10s, and cash at every event, 100% cash rate.
It's a pretty awesome
cash
resume.
rate. Wow.
When you read it like that, it's a little tougher to
That's
take
a cool
away.
stat.
Next up, you have
GB.
Sir Ganon Burr. Average finish is 11.7. His worst finish was 50th at the Dynamic Discs Open.
It's not a bad average finish.
He
Calvin
has
sound good though.
he has 3
That part of Calvin's resume would
That
beat
sounds
everybody.
good. Yeah.
3 Elite Series wins
Okay.
and 2 silver event wins. 1 being at the Open at Austin. Nope. 1 being at Blue Ridge and 1 being at Kansas City Wide Open.
So one
Blue Ridge was very well attended. Kansas City was not very well attended.
not at all.
So something to factor in there.
Yeah, Kansas City
I'm
was
factoring.
darn near a fake win.
And then last but not least, you have Sir Isaac Robinson. Average finish 15.68, with his worst finish being 82nd at the Las Vegas Challenge.
Hit him with it.
He has 2 wins, but both are major championships.
This is the hardest player of the year.
So
thing
this is
ever.
this is where there's going to be 3 groups of thought here, okay? And
Yeah.
the people who have these groups of thought are going to land on each of these players differently. Group of thought number 1 is player of the year belongs to the player that was most consistently at the top.
That's where my mind. Now I'm not the smartest person for these stats, but that's
none
where
of these
my-
are wrong.
Yeah, no, these are
It's
all
just 3
valid
different
trains
ways
of
to
thought.
view at
right
player of
off
the
the
year.
bat, in my head, that feels the best. Oh, he consistently did the best.
Yeah. So that person will automatically think there's no way anyone can argue against Calvin Heimberg. Then person number 2, which kind of is where person number 2 will battle between Gannon and Isaac. It depends on how much you value a major. Person number 2 is player of the year is about wins. And player of the year is
Also
about
makes sense.
basically legacy performance. Those people will say it doesn't matter. This is more where I fall. It doesn't matter what Calvin did not winning because he was not winning. Then you have Gannon Burr, won 3 times on the Elite Series stage, 2 times on a silver event stage, and you have Isaac Robinson, who won 2 times on a major stage. He won 2 majors in 1 season. Incredible. The question that separates those 2 groups of thought is how much do you weigh a major versus an Elite Series / silver event?
It's like breaking my brain.
And so when you look at those 3, it basically just is what train of thought is the right one for player of the year.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite reasons player of the year exists is because
I love that.
they're all right.
The subjectivity of it is great. Now, we should probably look up the criteria again so we can, good luck.
Yeah, good luck finding this.
But I'm pretty sure this year they made it even heavier on objective things such as like your tour points. There's still voting involved. Like there will still be a player and media vote, I'm pretty sure. The player and media vote, I'm almost 1,000%
so the player
positive.
of the year is determined to split vote between media members and tour card players.
Oh, so they took away the tour points.
Let me make sure
thing.
this is this year. February 23rd, 2023. Yes.
So it's just media
it's
and player
just vote.
So with that being said, I think there's a 1,000% chance it goes to Calvin. From what I've heard, when you talk to most people, they're like, how could you not pick Calvin? So, and I think the players especially will pick Calvin, and he's a likable player. So I would say my educated guess is that Calvin wins player of the year.
I would agree.
In my head, it's really tough.
I don't think Calvin wins my player of the year.
I can't decide because you're right. When you talk about consistency, was consistently
here's my
the
thing.
best.
I like to look at player of the year as what season would I most want.
That is a good way to look
I would
at
want
it.
Isaac Robinson's. I want to be a world champ and Champions Cup. I'd want 2 majors because
have
10
to
years from
agree with
now,
you.
no one's going to look back and remember who won Jonesboro
I'd have to agree
and who
with
won
you.
Vegas. But people will remember the world champ
Yeah.
and a Champions Cup major.
way
If I thought about it that way, that is who I would pick
Like,
as well.
you also have to think, and you can't answer this for Calvin, so you have to answer it from yourself. But I would imagine Calvin Heimberg would trade his season for Isaac Robinson's
It's a good chance he might.
because that gives him a world championship and another major. It gives him 2 majors, which he has 0 to his name right now.
Yeah.
But it gives him 2 majors to his name, and he still would have like a solid season. It's not like Isaac Robinson sucked everywhere else. He still has a solid season.
Yeah, won plenty of
But-
money.
2 majors.
The way I think about it, which I don't think that I'm more correct than any of the other ways, because I think there's good arguments for each one. I think that you make a really good argument. But what makes the most sense for player of the year in my head, it means the player that played the best this year, the best disc golf. And in my head, it makes sense to look at average, like who played the best disc golf. And I feel like average, Calvin played the best.
And that's how a lot of people view it.
I say the tough thing is just how do you quantify playing the best? Because like if you just quantify by finishing place on average, yes, easily Calvin. But if the goal of disc golf is to win, then he didn't play the best this year because he didn't win as much.
No, because if that's
and that's a brutal way to look at it because
if it's just winning, then you have to go Gannon Burr.
Yeah,
who has
I
3
genuinely,
Elite Series
I'm
and
like
2
playing devil's advocate with myself.
So
I
that's
have
where I
no
don't
idea
feel like,
who I'd pick right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it's winning, but I understand.
I
why
genuinely feel
it
like
would to some people.
I feel like 33% split in my head between all three.
Well, here's my thing:
hard.
is if
it's hard.
It's really difficult.
How I look at this sport, right, is
Somebody else to win to make
if
this
you're
easy.
at the top, right? If you're our Calvin, Gannon, or Isaac, and you ask them what's your goal each and every weekend,
it's to win.
it's to win. They're not showing up to a tournament not to win.
Yeah,
They're not showing up to a tournament to come in third average. They're showing up to win.
But that would be player of the round, not player of the year, though.
No, but every
Yeah,
time
but
they're showing
who
up, they're trying to win.
accomplishes their goal the most times throughout the
So
year.
Gannon Burr accomplished his goal the most. Isaac Robinson accomplished everyone's goal in life as a disc golfer, world champion. But he also won a second major. He won half the majors he showed up to.
But Calvin technically beat the most people.
That doesn't matter. He lost.
Yeah.
He lost.
It's all about how you look at it.
I value wins.
Yeah.
That's how I've always valued player of the year.
Typically, I do. It's really tough when Calvin put together such. I mean, I just.
It would be
I
would feel.
wish he would have won one more time.
I would feel differently towards Calvin if he didn't choke away wins left and right, but he was in a position to win consistently and didn't.
Yeah.
And so that to me, I'm like, he was there. Sure, he got himself in contention, but he fell apart.
It's tough because the other thing about player of the year that makes it tough.
Well,
is
he didn't
like,
fall apart. He got third.
Yeah, but he was
average.
trying to win. He wasn't trying to come third.
Yeah.
The other thing that's tough with player of the years too is like you want a player who you feel like was good the entirety of the year, like they embodied the year, and realistically, Calvin was the only one that did that per se. I mean, Isaac's wins were a little bit spread out from one another. I just wish he would have won
but Calvin didn't win since April.
Yeah, but he was still playing good disc golf. Like some of those guys were a little strict. Now Isaac, I would say after his world title, he was good from there on out. Or after Champions Cup, realistically, he was pretty good from there on out.
And again, we're not giving the Grip Block official answer until the Grippies, but in my opinion, it's between Gannon and Isaac.
Yeah,
because I value player of the year to me is about the season body of work that will be remembered, and that comes down to wins. That doesn't come down to finishing place. Because no, I can't. If you ask me who came in 5th place at 2020 Waco, I can't tell you.
It's true.
I have no idea.
It's true.
But you go to wins, and I can name USDGC winners back for who knows how long. I can name Worlds winners back for a long time.
I feel the weight of the media.
And
vote
plus, well, the problem is the Pro
chest.
Tour Player of the Year doesn't matter. It's the Grippy Player of the Year, and that's completely on us.
Yeah,
so
their awards are fake.
It's tough. Let us know in the comments who you think and why.
Give us good arguments for every single player that maybe we aren't considering.
Oh, because the thing is,
because I genuinely haven't really thought.
Because in my opinion, there is, like I said, Player of the Year doesn't have a defined.
No, it's subjective
thing, so everyone views it a different way.
That's the hard thing.
And you can view.
That's the beauty of it and the pain.
You can view each player. You can view each player as Player of the Year. Like you can view each of these 3 players as Player of the Year. Now, if you try to argue for someone else, it doesn't really make sense.
That's at the end of the day. I just want to, not argue, but present arguments to why I like Calvin. But then we just view the Player of the Year as something completely different, which means that we can't agree on it because we think Player of the Year means something different.
Yeah,
that's
and that's
a frustrating thing.
Yeah,
that's how everyone is. Though.
Yeah,
that's what's beautiful about it. Is that's why the
it's beautiful.
Player of the Year is my favorite. My favorite award because it's so subjective that no one will ever agree on it. Any sport, basically.
There's not a right answer.
My favorite is Grippy, which is I think the most subjective, is Comeback Player of the Year.
That's a good one too.
Because it could be somebody who we could make it anything we want.
Yeah.
Who's ready for the Grippies?
I'm ready, Trev.
All right. Well, there you have it. Don't forget to comment down below and join us next week, possibly for the Grippies. Possibly the Grippies will be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
And if you work at Harbor Freight, sponsor us.
We'll see you next week.